So, our house was broken into.
This is not a video I wanted to make, but we're making it because this is something very big that just happened in our life.
This past week was, I think, the week from hell.
We'll
tell you all about it.
I think it was the worst week ever.
I said multiple times it was the worst week of my life, and that was before the home invasion, actually, so.
You can tell that I'm not doing great by the fact that I'm not laughing right now. I barely have a joke for you.
Wow.
But yeah, we'll tell you all about what happened. It wasn't good.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
It's time
To talk
about
our lives.
Okay, so this past week we were driving to Virginia for my best friend's wedding. Very exciting. And on day number 2 of the drive, we took 3 days to drive. Shane was not like sick anymore. As you know, he was really sick. He had gotten over the initial sickness, but he still had a lot of phlegm in his lungs, which will probably last for like a month after.
That happens every time I get sick. It just takes me a long time to clear out everything. And this was a very bad illness, so we're figuring it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
And it is taking a long time.
And the road trip wasn't very helpful for it. Like Shane couldn't, change positions and all the stuff that he needed to be doing. So on this day, I think we pulled over off the highway 3 times for Shane to get out of the car, me to take him out of his chair and lay him on the back seat, and then him to like cough, me to like thump his chest, like all this stuff. So it was a long day.
And if that doesn't sound like long and stressful enough to you, it should. But that was combined with the fact that I coughed literally from waking up to going to bed.
Yep.
I just had so much stuff coming out of my lungs that day, and that's exhausting for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was exhausted by 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And so, like, combined with the fact that I could barely breathe all day, and then the stress of driving for Hannah, and all the difficulty physically of, like, putting me on the back seat and, like, bending it. It was just so much.
So much.
So when we got to the hotel
We
that
were not
night,
doing well.
we were struggling.
Yeah.
Physically and mentally and emotionally.
And that was like 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And
I did a breathing treatment first.
yeah.
I was
As
like, I can't breathe.
as we're sitting in the hotel, Shane gets a text and he was like, oh my God. Like, not in a good way. And I could tell it was a bad text. And I was like, what?
I'm laughing now.
It's not funny.
Because of how bad.
And he was like, our pool guy, we have a person who cleans our pool in LA. And my first thought was that, like, the guy had found a dead animal in the pool, like a stray cat fell in or something. I was like, oh my God, is it a cat? Jim was like, no. And I was like, ooh, thank God.
I almost didn't tell you. I obviously would have told you. But, like, in that moment...
You didn't want to tell me.
We were in such bad moods.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there like this.
And so tired. That it felt like a joke. It felt like someone was pranking me.
And we hadn't eaten. It was like 7:30 and we hadn't eaten since breakfast. Because, like, there was no... Like, Shane couldn't breathe. We were just trying to get to the hotel. Like, it was so bad. I was like, what happened? And Shane was like, the pool guy sent a picture. Our back door is shattered. The back door is gone. Like... There's a gaping hole in the house. Our house was broken into.
Yeah.
And we were like, what?
So my brain instantly is running through every possibility. Like, was there a storm? Was there an earthquake?
A very large bird.
A bird.
But no, he sent us the photo shows our door completely shattered. We'll put the photo in here. And there are some like black planters that we have, like big squares. They're very heavy. One was used
displaced
to throw at the back door to shatter it.
It was obvious that it was not where we had left it.
Yeah, it was right in front of the shattered door. So the first thing we do is start looking up the phone number for the police that we need, because in Ohio, we can't call 911 and get the correct police,
Imagine if we did, we were like, hey.
Our house in Los Angeles has been burgled. Like,
we needed a dispatch 2,000 miles away.
Yeah. So we get this number. Now, this is the second time we've called the non-emergency police department for someone either near or inside our house, which is nice.
So I called the non-emergency number and I put on hold. And so I'm sitting there wheezing, waiting for them to pick up, and they do. And I explain the situation. I say that right before we left LA to come to Minnesota, our neighbor's house was broken into in a very similar manner.
Yep.
They broke the back door and they just flipped the house upside down.
Yeah.
And the police officer was like, okay, are you in the home? Like, are you safe? I'm like, I am in Ohio.
I am as far away as I can be.
This is very unfortunate timing. And so I explain, and they say, all right, we're sending officers over right now. We're going to check it out.
And they needed someone to meet them there. So,
Right.
And we had already, like, while we were on hold, we had texted, we had like 3 neighbors that we would tell this to around us. So we texted everybody being like, our house was burgled, like, just so you know. And they all responded back being like, can we help? Like, whatever. So we had a neighbor meet the police there, which was lucky.
Yeah, overall, huge shout out to our neighbors. They like sprung into action.
Yeah.
Our one neighbor went over right away to like scope it out.
Yeah.
Another neighbor met the police. And we had everyone helping us out. So thank you, neighbors.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of sat and waited.
For the police,
which was really weird because like we didn't know if someone was actively in the house.
Yeah.
Like, for all we knew, that they could have broken in like 2 days ago, and we're in there.
Yeah, we didn't. You know? No one knew, so no one. I mean, we were like, "Don't go in the house." Obviously, no one went in the house, and so the police came. Our neighbor called us. We were on the phone with her while the police were like getting ready, and then the police asked her to please back away, like move away from the house. And they like drew their guns and like went in.
It was like a movie. It must have been like a movie.
She was like, "Wow, this is like a big deal," you know. So they went in. There was no one in the house.
They were in there for an hour.
Yeah.
But they cleared the place.
Yeah.
Which made me feel really good because I was worried that they were gonna like peek their head in and be like, nope, no one here, you got robbed, see ya.
Yeah.
But they were there for a very long time.
Yes. We still hadn't eaten. This is now like 9 p.m. 2 hours have gone by and we're sitting in the hotel room because we don't want to miss the call from the police.
Yeah.
They've called us like 6 times now with different updates and like questions. So we're just like sitting in the hotel. Finally, they call us saying that they're leaving and they're opening a police report. We explained that we can't tell them what was missing from the house until we go back and inventory it. So we have like an open police report, and when we go back, we can inventory our belongings.
And we asked, I was like, well, does it look like they like
did they destroy
robbed us?
Yeah.
And the cop said, I don't know how you normally leave your house, but
do you leave cabinets and drawers open and like stuff all over the floor? We were like,
I was like,
and
no.
our neighbor kept being like, they're very neat. They did not leave the house like this.
So yeah, it was clear then that they had broken in and gone through everything.
Gone through everything for sure.
A silver lining, of which there are a few here, is that because our neighbors unfortunately were robbed right before we left LA, we were afraid about this happening to us. So we took with us everything of value.
Yep.
Literally, like, everything we cared about, everything of value, everything that we might be upset about if it was taken.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really anything there that we cared if it was missing.
Yeah, we worried about like our TV and stuff. They didn't take the TV. Like, I don't think they can take huge items. They didn't like destroy our furniture, thank God. And small items, I don't know. Like, we don't know for sure what they've taken yet, but they left things like, we have like the Amazon Alexa, you know, like they left that. So I think they were looking for cash or jewelry that was like thousands of dollars, you know, they weren't looking for like small items to sell.
I think another silver lining is that we weren't there. Like, initially I was like, oh man, like,
horrible timing.
If we had been there, it would have been like, we could have stopped it. But I don't want to stop a robbery. Like, if that had happened, if the back door had been smashed in by a criminal while we were like in bed or like, you know, watching TV, that would have been
worst fears.
Traumatizing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it happened because we weren't there. You know, I don't think the person would have broken in to like confront us. But at the same time, it could have been so much more traumatizing than not being there.
And even from, you know, thousands of miles away, it just felt so invasive. And like, you know, we're gonna have to go back. And it feels icky now. Like, I just feel violated.
Yeah.
You know, in a way that I've never felt before.
Yeah, and we knew that our door was still gaping open because we couldn't get it fixed the next day. We got it boarded up, but we were like, oh my God, like our house is just sitting there open, you know?
Yeah.
So disturbing.
So the next day we got a unexpected call from the police asking if they could go over their fingerprint, which we never expected they would do, but we were like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So again, we called on our amazing neighbors who met the police and let them in, and they fingerprinted the whole house.
Yeah.
And they let us know after that they got fingerprints, many of them. I'm sure a lot of them were Hannah's and, you know, people we know.
Yeah.
But there's a chance that they got, like, a fingerprint that would show something.
And they said that they didn't see signs of someone using gloves. They didn't find any glove prints because apparently if you use gloves, like it leaves a print that's not obviously a human fingerprint, but you can see a very specific pattern, and they didn't see that. So there is a chance that they'll, you know, find the person.
So that is our house break-in.
Wow.
We're not going to share everything that we know because it is like an ongoing investigation, but this sucks.
I know.
And it really has made me feel some kind of way about living in LA.
Yeah, Shane's not going back.
I'm like, hey, I'm never going back there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to live somewhere where I feel like, oh, someone's going to break the window at any moment. I know that can happen anywhere, but like it happened.
But since it happened
to our house in LA, somehow I'm like, ew.
I know. Yeah.
Very annoying.
It'll be interesting to go in there, and luckily it's not going to be too long before we're back, but like it'll be interesting to go in there and see if anything was taken, because we don't know for sure.
We were so lucky. We took all of our clothes.
I know.
Every pair of underwear I have.
They didn't want your underwear.
It's safe and sound. I know what you're after.
Shane was like, the only thing Shane wanted our neighbor to check, they went in and like video recorded the whole house for us. He was like, can you please check on my typewriter? Because Shane has a typewriter on his desk, and thank goodness the typewriter was not taken. So that's really all that mattered.
Typewriter and underwear, yeah.
Yeah.
The high ticket items. All right, everyone.
That's our update.
This sucked. Hope you did better, Reese.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm doing much better phone-wise. I'm barely coughing at all.
I'm glad
these days.
That's an update you're giving everybody.
Well,
phlegm-wise, he's pretty good.
I'm doing great. House broken into, but I can breathe.
Yeah.
So, you know. Yeah. All right. We will be back soon. Bye.
Bye.